Hello, everyone, and welcome to our WWE Battleground preview. I am John Pollock, alongside Jimmy Corderas, getting ready for this Sunday's pay-per-view. A rare, sizable gap between shows, Jimmy, from Money in the Bank to Battleground. We've had 5 weeks in between time. Has it felt as such?
Actually, it has. It's kind of a weird thing for me because when we had the short build between the two specials and the pay-per-views and whatever, when it was like 2 weeks.
This is rapid fire.
It was rapid fire, and, you know, it kind of kept you interested. This almost felt like, okay, let's get to the pay-per-view already. It's weird because it used to be that anticipation for the pay-per-view, like, oh, I can't wait for the pay-per-view. Now it's like, come on, let's get to the pay-per-view already.
Can you imagine the era where it's like 3 months in between major shows?
Yeah, I forgot all about that.
This current generation couldn't take it, I don't think. It's just ADD.
Getting to the point where probably I couldn't take it either. But
in fairness, though, the amount of hours in between shows is almost the same when you're adding in 3 hours of Raw instead of an hour of Superstars, Wrestling Challenge. I mean, this is, you're filling so much that there's only so many ideas to keep people interested when you're essentially just filling time between shows. I mean, week 2 of a 5-week build, sometimes, yeah, you're not going to get a compelling 3-hour Raw. And I think as we get closer, looking to Sunday, this show is really built around 2 matches. We have the title match involving Seth Rollins and Brock Lesnar, and we'll start there. I think it's super early to put the title on Lesnar. I think that's a long-term build. But I do like the way they set it up on Monday, where essentially Rollins is in this corner where he's going to have some ace up his sleeve in order to win this, because he's lost everybody with Kane, J&J Security gone. So you at least the Cadillac is gone. I mean, he is all out of options at this point, unless the Cadillac comes to life, which maybe Jim Herd would have had a great pitch for. But is there any chance of a title change on Sunday, Jimmy, as you look into your crystal ball?
Well, there's always a chance, but I don't see it happening. I agree with you. I think it is way too soon for Brock Lesnar to recapture the WWE Championship. I like the fact that Seth Rollins has been painted into this corner and appears to be all alone in this. Obviously, I don't think Triple H will get involved in this, but I think someone else, someone surprising, thinking outside the box, is going to help Seth Rollins retain. Obviously, I don't see him pinning the champion.
Any thoughts?
Not pinning Brock Lesnar, that's for sure.
If that is the option, and that seems to be a logical choice, that here is Seth Rollins, he's all out of options. Well, he's gone outside the box and brought somebody to assist him to win. I think Big Show is kind of... No. That's not enough. I think a lot of people would groan at that idea, especially of a Lesnar show program coming out of this. Who comes to mind that could be the ace up his sleeve?
I think maybe this is too early, but because he had a quick program with Seth Rollins and now is kind of floundering, I'm looking at a Dean Ambrose in the sense that, yes.
To help Rollins.
To help Rollins in the sense that, hey, listen, I know this guy, stabbed us Shield members in the back, but maybe he's onto something. Maybe he had the right idea, because I'm not getting anywhere. I may be crazy, but I ain't stupid. You know what I mean? So maybe he joins forces with the Authority, with everybody else out. And now we've got a 2/3 reunion of the Shield, which leaves Roman Reigns as the only guy to say, hey, I'm loyal to the fans and to the fact that you guys stabbed me in the back. And maybe there's something there to help build Roman Reigns up as a babyface.
Dean Ambrose needs something at this point. And it really hit me watching on Monday, where he comes out like in the total geek role, where he's brought out for his match. He's got to stand in the ring forever, sit through a commercial break, sit through a video package, and then Reigns jumps his opponent before the match begins, and the whole attack, Ambrose is just planted there on the floor watching this. And he's watching Reigns beat him down. Okay. Then Bray clocks him with the lantern. Does this prompt Reigns' best friend to move a muscle? No, he still sticks around and just watches it.
At least he could have done was get him. Nothing.
He needs something. I'm with you. He's not even booked on the show as of right now for Sunday. Could be added on at the last minute, but he's really floundering in this role. Yeah. And he needs the reset, and I think a heel turn would very much reinvigorate that character, because he is somebody that he needs something to sink his teeth into. If you don't give a guy anything, it's really hard to succeed in a role where you're just a bit player. You're just the stand-in for a run-in by Roman Reigns.
Absolutely.
And that's where he is at this point. I do see Rollins retaining. I think that the Lesnar title change should be something very big, maybe even something that you hold off until next year at WrestleMania.
Sure.
He's signed up long-term, so there's no reason to rush rush to an immediate title run with Brock Lesnar. The other one that I do suspect we do get the title change is John Cena and Kevin Owens. Presumably the end to this feud, though you never know how much they can get juice out of a particular program. Is this one too many matches for you, or do you feel this is the rubber match, this is the time to culminate this with a Kevin Owens victory? Or is the success of this U.S. title run and reinvigorating the John Cena character a reason to keep that option open?
That's why I'm sitting on the fence on this one. I'm kind of like 50-50, half of one, six of one, half a dozen of the other, because I see the value in actually putting the title on Kevin Owens. Although I'm a person who says too much too soon for a superstar coming up, I like the slow build, getting someone, into a higher status on the card. But Kevin Owens is a unique situation. That being said, I also see the value in keeping John Cena as U.S. champion because, like you said, this has been so successful with him as U.S. champion. The championship itself has been elevated now to definitely number 2 status.
Yes,
in the company. But again, I see it being maybe too soon for Kevin Owens, because where does he go from there? Because the only next logical step after the U.S. championship would be a World Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah.
So, again, is it too soon? But then again, you open up other possibilities with Kevin Owens, because he has issues with Cesaro. We can get some great matches with him. Rusev now is in the mix. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of options there.
The key to moving the title onto Owens is keeping this at the level that it's been brought up to. Mm-hmm. Each week, the only thing you typically go into Raw knowing is that you're getting this U.S. title challenge. You know you're getting a great match, because they don't do a whole lot of announcing stuff ahead of time for Raw. So you tune in essentially knowing one thing. It's that U.S. title challenge. And most people look forward to it. There's the surprise of who's going to answer the challenge. And typically you get a kick-ass match at the end of it with John Cena. So you can't really duplicate that with Kevin Owens, because it doesn't really fit his character to be opening up the door to the locker room and just giving out title shots. That's completely against what his character is.
Yeah, but that being said, unless he does win the title, and then on Monday night he says he's going to continue the U.S. Open Challenge, and every week somehow, creatively ducks out of
That's
that
true.
challenge.
You could go that direction and make it almost a spoof on what John Cena did, and just he whenever he senses any danger, he's out.
Right.
He's the Bob Sapp of professional wrestling. He's going to go into a fight with every hope of winning, but any sense of danger, he taps. He's out. So that will be an interesting one on Sunday. I do hope that Cesaro, and we saw with Rusev this past Monday, it seems that this is going to be their focus in that U.S. title picture.
I like it.
Cesaro, interestingly enough, not on this show. Do you see it being a late addition, maybe a rematch with Rusev? Because to me, he's been the standout the last number of weeks on Raw. I think that this guy should be in the main event picture. He's been outstanding.
I agree. He's been phenomenal. Bless you, by the way.
I'm getting choked up here discussing this U.S. title picture. I mean, it's nothing to sneeze at, Jimmy, but I do digress.
This guy, man, I'm telling you. Stand up, coming this Thursday. Anyway, no, I like Cesaro's been fantastic, and there hasn't been any question about his in-ring ability. He has been on top of his game in the ring, even given less opportunity, let's say, and even put in a tag team with Tyson Kidd, which seemed to be a team just thrown together. They made it work.
Yes,
because of the talents of both individuals, especially Cesaro, who's phenomenal. He's starting to connect with the audience. That was the point of contention way back when, reaching for the brass ring, and connecting with the audience. He's starting to connect through his in-ring ability. He still, in my mind, still needs to work a little bit on his mic skills. Not that he's bad on the mic, but in this day and age, you have to be better than average on the mic to really get over. So,
especially when you are put in situations with a Kevin Owens or a John Cena, where you have to be at that level in order to go verbally with them. And say what you will, I think Rusev, he has his own interesting charisma that comes out. I mean, that guy is someone that has made a lot of improvements over the last year. For a large part of that act getting over, a lot of it was Lana, and now there is no Lana. And Rusev, to me, he came across very strong on Monday. They gave him the clean win. Strange the way it was all positioned, where not just the clean win over Cesaro, but here he is after a 20-minute war. Then he gets thrust into John Cena. It's like, how could you not root for this guy?
Yeah, it was almost kind of a little role reversal as far as babyface heel was, because it looked like, a babyface John Cena taking advantage of a guy who just went through a war. And even going into the finish before Kevin Owens broke it up, it was almost like a babyface finish.
Yeah, it was
going into the accolades.
Exactly. And then Rusev gets laid out at the end of it. It's like, here this guy just goes through 25 minutes and Owens lays him out. Yes, heat on Owens, but sympathy on Rusev at the same time.
Yep.
And I think it's way early to be looking at a Rusev babyface turn at this point. I mean, that just seems completely off base at this point.
True.
It's interesting that we look at everything that's standing out on Raw over the last few weeks: Cesaro, Rusev, and the women coming up from NXT this past Monday, all not part of this pay-per-view on Sunday. It's to me, it's like the highlights of the show over the last number of weeks are not really figured into this show. It's very unlike WWE to have all that focus, and you're not getting much of any of it this Sunday.
Yeah, true. But again, it is the WWE, and they do like to surprise people on Sundays. So maybe we will get something with the young ladies from NXT coming up versus...
I think even just a 6-woman tag. They just announced that. You don't have to do the big title match involving anybody, or a Charlotte singles match, anything like that. I think just the women on this show, that's instantly the third most interested match. And for some people, even more, because of the long anticipation of how these three are going to change the product with the women on the main roster.
That's the hope.
And what kind of time they're going to get. I think that there's a lot of questions. How did you think it came off on Monday?
I thought it came off really well. My only concern is, again, with the too much too soon, you brought up 3 talented young ladies from NXT all at once.
Yep.
And my only concern is I think Charlotte obviously is going to be the standout of the group. I think Sasha Banks is going to find some success as well on the main roster, but I'm worried about Becky Lynch because, again, all 3, you have to find a place for all of them, and especially with the divas that don't get as much TV time, airtime on TV. It's usually 1 segment a week on Raw. Sometimes you might squeeze in 2, but they don't get a lot of time on television, so I'm worried about...
And that to me benefits one over the other, because Sasha Banks and to the same extent, Becky Lynch, what has gotten them over is being put in positions where they've got 15 minutes, they've got 20 minutes on a special to get across, and they come off significantly stronger than they did going in. Charlotte, to me, is much easily transferable to a 4-minute television match because of those athletic spots that she can work in a quick television match, as well having the pedigree. She has that going for her as well for the audience that is not familiar with these 3 at all. So I do give some of the advantage to Charlotte, but I think all 3, if utilized properly, can all exceed. It's just a question of whether they're given this ability to go out there and get 12 minutes on TV.
Exactly.
Let's move on down. Bray Wyatt and Roman Reigns. This was actually announced at the Money in the Bank show, so you knew coming out of that show what you were getting. Now that we are 5 weeks deep into the build-up for this feud, where's Jimmy Corderas' interest level, and does it continue past Battleground?
I think it does continue past Battleground. This is a situation where, the argument is there, who needs the win more, Roman Reigns or Bray Wyatt? I would argue that Bray Wyatt needs it more because he's been in a few high-profile feuds that he has not come out on top on. And I get it. He's the heel going in, so usually the heel does not come out on top unless he's moving ahead to a program with the World Heavyweight Champion, who tends to be a babyface. That's old school thinking. Again, that's the way I think. But at the same time, as compelling a character as he is, other than the 1,000 points of lights when he makes his entrance, he's lost that connection with the audience. And you talk about connecting with your audience. And this rivalry with Roman Reigns, I think he needs to come out on top on Sunday for him to establish that reconnection and maybe continue this feud going further. I don't think a loss by Roman Reigns, depending on how it obviously comes across, hurts him in the long-term picture because he is the babyface. And who knows, maybe Dean Ambrose gets involved there as well and kind of accidentally on purpose costs Roman Reigns the match.
That could be one direction, definitely. I think Dean Ambrose getting involved and spinning him off with Roman Reigns, that's something big for SummerSlam. I think there is equal amounts of pressure on these two, while at the same time, very little expectation on the outside from people going into this match. I don't think people are very engaged in this particular feud. However, internally, there are high hopes for both of these two, and I think they're in a position they could go out and really need to put on a fantastic performance to kind of get that attention, because this is a feud that it's existing at this point, and neither guy has done a whole lot in these 5 weeks to really jump out and gain a lot of attention from people.
Right, and going into Sunday, nobody has the clear-cut advantage. Like usually somebody has a clear advantage going in, and you kind of expect the reverse to happen Sunday. This one here, it's been pretty much even.
You know, the day after WrestleMania 29 in New Jersey, we went to Raw the next night, and there was a very famous singles match involving Randy Orton and Sheamus.
Yes.
And this crowd turned on this match like you would not believe with the post-WrestleMania crowd. And we get the rematch on Sunday in St. Louis. Right. So you would hope that the crowd is more receptive to one Randy Orton this time around, and as well Sheamus now in the heel spot some 2.5 years later. But this match kind of just thrown together with Randy Orton back on television. I think this will be fine. Not a whole lot of build to it, but it'll be a fine singles match, and the crowd should be into Orton, you would hope.
Oh, absolutely. And
this could even kick off the show in a strange way.
I don't see why not. To get the crowd up, I see Randy Orton winning this one because Sheamus with the Money in the Bank briefcase, as we've noticed, kind of like holding the crown of king.
I wouldn't say he's that low, but those things are rather anchors.
Whether it's a crown or a briefcase or the Intercontinental Championship, you tend not to win a lot.
No. And I think the less said, the better about this R-Truth King Barrett program. It's on the kickoff show for a reason. It's not going to be kicking this off strongly.
I honestly hope R-Truth wins the title of King, because then he could move into that comic role that we're lacking from people like Santino, who's not around anymore, or whatever happened to Damian Sandow. He's with Waldo somewhere. But get the King title off of Barrett, because it is not benefiting him at all. He needs a reboot bad.
He is just sunk. I mean, they come up with all these ideas for Barrett, and it's all stuff that I look at Wade Barrett, the person, has to overcome. It's like all these shackles that he's given, that it's like this guy at his core is a very talented guy, but man, some of the stuff they give him, this King gimmick that has done nothing for his career. I mean, whatever that King of the Ring you hold in any kind of prestige, I mean, look at where this guy is. I mean, that used to propel a guy to be the focal point of your whole summer-long title program. And this, he'll be lucky to be on SummerSlam.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And poor Wade Barrett, because he is a very talented individual. He
Great talker. Got that bad news thing. That bad news thing was dying a death up until that Hall of Fame ceremony, and there was a turnaround where people could see this guy's trying. We got behind it. The guy did get over, and then the story of this guy's career, getting hurt.
Exactly. For poor Wade Barrett, it's kind of like going down a side street here in Toronto. You get going, you just get going, you hit one of those speed bumps. Once you're over it, you start to accelerate, there's another one.
Time to take the gimmick and pull it over to the side of the road and just ditch it.
As long as you stay away from the HOV lanes.
That is true. One other match to discuss on the particular show, or have we gone through everything at this point? I'm trying to even remember. Oh, the New Day and the Primetime Players for the tag titles. I assume the Primetime Players retain.
Yeah, but I'm not digging this title run. I thought it was too soon to take the title off the New Day. I'd like to see them as champions again. It's just not working for me for the Primetime Players. As much as I like the Primetime Players, it's just not working.
Yeah, they had a chance. They were put on commentary last week, and I don't know. They went in with the right intentions, but just execution didn't come across.
It started off all right, but I thought Titus O'Neil, in my opinion, who can talk as well, but he just, as much as we complain about commentary sometimes, he just took it and was a little bit overbearing, I thought.
It's something that it's very difficult to differentiate between promos and when you're in that broadcast environment, it is very different. I think Arn Anderson is the example everyone uses as someone phenomenal promo. You put him on to color commentary that time with Scott Hudson on the infamous Raw from Tacoma, Washington. I mean, it just doesn't transfer seamlessly, and it's a real gift to be able to take a guy who's a great promo and turn him into a broadcaster.
Speaking of Arn, I'm dying to get a book from Arn Anderson. Just a bunch of Arn Andersonisms. If I can't repeat some of them here, but or think of any, but I just remember sitting in the back listening to Arn Anderson comment on someone working in the ring or somebody doing something. They're fantastic.
He was the standout on that Dusty special.
Oh yes,
a few weeks back on the network with the glasses down and just a great storyteller.
He is, and I could listen to him all day long. But I want to see it in book form one day. Just a long list of Arn Andersonisms.
Jimmy could probably write the book.
Well, yeah.
There you go.
Sure.
Go pitch it.
Ghostwriting.
ECW Press. Also, let's finish off this weekend. There's actually the Saturday night Independent Wars in Toronto.
Yes.
We've got House of Hardcore, which is Saturday night, 7:30 p.m. at the Ted Reeve Arena. Of course, Tommy Dreamer running that show. We're going to have the Young Bucks against Team 3D in the main event. Chris Hero, Tony Nese, a lot of phenomenal talent on that show, including this man, who's going to be dusting off those referee boots, I understand.
Yep, dusting off the boots, and I still don't know what match I'm refereing, but
I hope it's the Young Bucks.
Oh,
you're going to get a workout.
Yeah, well, you know what? Here's the way I look at it. Young Bucks versus Team 3D. I don't think there's going to be a lot of following the rules in that one. So maybe just, give them some...
You should come out with a blindfold.
That would be great. Yeah, blindfold and the Walker gimmick. But
it's actually a great spot for an indie show as the referee with a cane and the eyes.
But you know what? If that's the match, then, let him go because... as I put it, people didn't pay their hard-earned money to see me count to 5 and disqualify somebody. They came to see the Young Bucks and Team 3D, so let them do their thing.
All right. And then, conversely, that same night, just up the corner at the Great Hall on Queen Street, 1087 Queen Street. Gosh, I can't even speak today. Queen Street West. We've got the King of the Six event, which Ashley Six is running, and UFC fighter Elias Theodoro making his professional wrestling debut. Which I don't know if the UFC is aware about or not, but he has advertised he will make his wrestling debut on Saturday night.
Yeah, well, he is of Greek descent, so I know that he doesn't care.
Yeah. So there you go. If you're in Toronto, lots to do this coming weekend, including Sunday's Battleground show at 8 o'clock Eastern on the network. If you care to watch the end to the King Barrett and R-Truth program, it's going to be on the kickoff show at 7 Eastern, and then tune into the Law immediately afterwards, 11 Eastern. TSN Radio, you can also listen at liveaudiowrestling.com. Dan Lavransky, Jason Agnew, and myself will have a full rundown of the show, and this man will be back next week to chat about Battleground and whether he officiates the Young Bucks Team 3D and seeing the Meltzer driver up close and personal, perhaps.
Yeah, I haven't seen it live and in living color, but hopefully this week I do.
We'll see if they bust out a Meltzer driver for the Toronto fans. All right, for Jimmy Corderas, I'm John Pollock. Thanks for watching our preview of Battleground.